I tell you what, it was just good. They both shared a couple of things with me last night. I left here 300 feet tall. They're talking about when Brenda was telling us about coming here and how this church, but how God changed things. And can I share what you told me? Would it be all right? She said September 21st, which was what, day before yesterday, she said it was an anniversary for me. She said it's been 1 year since I smoked a cigarette. I said, that's great. And she said it's been 2 years since I took a drink of alcohol. I said, that's wonderful. And she said, I started coming over here to this church right over there. I remember. And she said, what long after that said, Roy started following me over here. And Roy said, listen, that was a big change in her, that I knew something was going on. And I said, that was God. It was what was going on. And it wasn't long after she got saved, we baptized her out there in that ice cold water waffle. We baptized Roy down there in the lake in June. And I'm going to tell you what, folks, inspiration. That's what love's about. That's what God can do. It's how He can move. And a fine example of loving people, telling everybody where you go about, hey, let me tell you about Jesus. Let me invite you to church. Let me tell you about the good news. That's what it's about. And I left here last night and I said, Lord, you're so good. And for all of the doubts and all the times that the devil said, what was you thinking? And then I started saying, hey, but look here. If just one soul is saved from hell, it's worth it all. Just one escaped hell is worth it all. Every bit of it. All of the rough times, all of the junk, it's worth it all. Just one soul. Just one more soul saved. God's good. Try to hurry. His love that He bestowed upon us, amazing. Amazing. That we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as He is, so are we in this world. Just as He was here, Jesus came, and you know what? People didn't like Jesus, did they? They mocked Him, they spit on Him, they cursed Him, they threatened Him. They ultimately did what? Killed Him. Didn't like Him. And guess what? This world ain't going to like us either. But you know what? He loved, and even on that cross, He spoke to the Father and said, Father, forgive them, because they don't know what they're doing. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. I'm going to tell you what, one of the greatest tools of the devil is fear. He will absolutely try to consume you with fear. Put it all over you. Try to consume you with it. But he's a liar. We love Him because He first loved us. If a man say, I love God, oh, this is right here. Preacher, do you have to read this? Yes, I do. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? Whew. If you can't love your brother who you have seen, how can you love God who you've not seen? Over the last 3 to 4 months in our country, there has been such a rhetoric going on between bantering back and forth, and people this and people that over this ruling and this type of thing, and Christians jumping right in and yelling and hollering, and people hollering back and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you something. God ain't in the middle of that. I'm going to tell you something. There's all kinds of things that's been declared, whatever, and I don't agree with none of them. But I'm going to tell you what I do agree with. I got to love people. I got to love them. I don't have to agree with them, but I got to love them. I don't agree with a lot of stuff. Somebody asked me, well, preacher, what if this person or certain person, whatever, what if they come to, I said, listen, they're welcome. They're welcome. Got to love everybody. How can you love God who you've not seen if you can't love your brother who you see every day? Somebody was telling me about a church somewhere they were going to, and said there were some families that had been there for like 30 or 40 years, and related to each other. And like the uncle was a deacon and the nephew was something, whatever. But they sat on opposite sides of the church and wouldn't even speak to one another. And blood kin. I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, was there a whole lot going on in the church? Was God moving? They said, absolutely dead as a hammer. I said, exactly. God's not in the midst of that. God's Spirit doesn't dwell in that. God's not a part of that. God is not the author of confusion. He's not.